Good morning, shapeshifters and time travelers. This is Abby, or Zix, coming at you live from inside of my car. We're currently at the park. I'm letting the little one go ahead and run around and get some steam out before we go into the gym, because that's part of our daily routine right now, kind of making do with what we've got. And I had a couple of things I wanted to say while I'm just kind of sitting here. I wanted to make the most of my time while I could. So, I was thinking a lot about weight. And not in the general sense, but in the sense of more so how important it is to stay grounded a lot of the time. Because it's real easy for us to just think very conventionally about how much we want to weigh a very specific amount. I encountered this a lot myself whenever it came to my goal. I dwelled on that for so long, and it wasn't until I finally kind of let go of that number that I really started to see my progress and achieve my goals. And that's the irony of the whole thing. It's really good to have goals, but it's not good to allow them to consume you. That's why it's so important to stay grounded. So even whenever working with energy healing and she's just screaming her little lungs out there. She likes being heard. I don't know if you can hear that. But we're the only ones out here, so she's having the time of her life. But when it comes to energy healing, there's densities that are held within our energy fields. And that those are like traumas or insecurities or memories, stuck emotions, really, that just kind of stick with us for possibly our whole lives, until we reach a resolution with that. And you never know when that'll happen. But the same kind of thing, you have to learn to feel and accept that emotion and move on from it in order for that density to leave your energy field. And then your energy field does almost literally become lighter. Like, it feels lighter for you, and it feels lighter for people that are around you. Because whenever you are around somebody, you can kind of sense when a person has this dense energy about them. Whenever you kind of don't feel very comfortable with it. Whenever you, there are certain people we just don't mesh well with or don't vibe with. And that has a lot to do with it, is that there's things that have happened to them in their lives that have made them to either repress or form their own opinions about something or their own resistance against something. And if your opinion kind of clashes, then there will be that tension. So it's good for us to kind of do some maintenance and allow ourselves to forgive. Not necessarily forget, because I think that there's always a lesson that comes with those, but to stop allowing it to hold us back. That's a lot of what weight loss is, and letting go of fat. As soon as you stop allowing it to control you so much, you don't let it control you anymore. You don't let it control your day. You don't allow it to make you feel miserable every morning. You can look in the morning and stop defining yourself by how much fat that you have, because that's just not what's important, right? There's so much more to you than what you have on your body at that moment. And so it's important to respect that part of you. I'm not saying to ignore it completely, because that is one part of a much larger picture, and it can have an impact in the grand scheme of your life, and there are lessons to be learned there, but it's not healthy to allow it to control your happiness. So we can use it as something to propel us into the future, but we don't want to allow it to hold us back. And that's why it's so important to stay grounded, which is where weight in the energy field is quite important, is to allow yourself to be grounded, recognize where you are and where it's going to take to move you forward without letting yourself get lost in the process. And so fat, if we accept that there's actually really important factors that fat plays for us. I have come to learn to respect it a great deal. I mean, immensely, in many different ways. Like, my journey with binge eating, I wasn't diagnosed, but I definitely recognized a pattern of insatiable hunger and eating way more than I needed to at one time. And so it became this pattern where I would binge for several days at a time, and then I'd feel bad for several days, and it would perpetuate. But fats were very much one of those things that I personally loved so much. And I can attribute that, actually, to why I have such healthy hair and skin and nails, actually, because fat plays that role. You need to make sure that you're eating enough fats to support some of the most important functions of your body. So cutting fat out of your diet completely is absolute nonsense. It's not healthy for you. But it is important that you know where your line is, where you can draw the line in what is too much and what is necessary to maintain a healthy system. Because you want to nurture yourself first and foremost, okay? You want to make sure that you're taken care of. We don't want to be sacrificing health in the name of vanity. All right? This is a health journey, not a health sacrifice. So that is very much what we're aiming for here. And so when it comes to fat, I keep, right now, with my health split, I keep about almost generally a 33 to 33 to 33 with my carbs, proteins, fats. It's not exact. I'd have to go back and look. I'm not keeping track of my numbers like to the T right now because I've managed to polish what it is that I eat in order to maintain and lose. And so, and still like stay full and not hungry, how much water it takes to do that as well, to help me to feel like I'm getting everything that I need. And, I'm actually proud of myself for keeping this tangent for so long and kind of like cycling things back as many times as I have, because usually I lose my train of thought. So anyone watching this, if you're like, wow, I'm just as surprised as you are. It's kind of refreshing. I always get so nervous when I do these. But fats, you want to respect the role that it plays in your life. And you don't want to allow it to make you so unhappy every day. You want to focus on that which empowers you, even in the worst of times. I know that's cliche to say, very self-helpy, but that we don't want to wallow in our pain. We want to accept our pain and acknowledge it, but we don't want to wallow in it. You don't want to dwell on it too long. You need to understand that there's a way to get out of it, and that's only through learning from it and moving forward. If it's around, if it's continued, then you need to accept that process and find out what the next step is. Instead of sitting in it, bathing in it, rolling around in it, throwing it at others. We don't want to do that. So don't use your fat that you have on your body as a way to shame yourself, okay? Use it as a way to propel yourself in any circumstance that you can. You want just baby steps. That could be anything right now. But thank you for attending my TED Talk if you did. I'm going to go ahead and get some sun, get a little more outside time, and then going to go in and do some activity. I sit at work all day, so not like all day, but it's like an office job basically. So I do want to stay relatively active. I like making sure that I can run upstairs or just like go up the stairs regularly without running out of breath or my legs on fire, so it's really important to me. But thank you. My name is Abby. At Zixilation is my online tags. Feel free to share, like, comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on how you've kind of managed to cope with some things that you just don't like in your everyday life. How do you move on from them? Or maybe it's time to identify them so that you can recognize what would be a good idea to move on from. But if you made it all the way into the end of the video, I really appreciate you and your time. It's the most valuable thing that we have. So, thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.